Hello and welcome to another episode of the Molten Truth. I am your host, Zoey Michaels. We're just happy for you to join us here today. This is an episode that should air about mid December, which is really excellent timing for our guest because by then her book should be out for maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks, just in time for those of you who are looking for a book to read and curl up with this winter or for a gift for someone. Um, I'm gonna butcher her name, so I'm actually gonna go with the short version, and I'm gonna call her Cassia, which is probably still butchering it. But um, Cassia, welcome to our show. Thank you for joining us here today.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, this is Katarzyna. It's Polish name, so I know it's really difficult to pronounce
Kasia,
for English-speaking people. But the short version of Katarzyna is Kasia.
yeah, almost like
Yeah,
cashmere,
it's
except
like a
it's a
soft
different
S,
sound,
Kasia.
Kasia.
Hmm.
But it's a beautiful
Mm.
name. But I just, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I
Yes.
am pleased
Yeah.
to
Thank you
have
so
you
much for
here.
inviting
You
me
know,
to this
it's interesting
conversation.
to talk with people, it, and this has been a very interesting year for me because I have talked to such a variety of people this year, ranging from, business owners to other writers to musicians and even a few psychologists, which I'm thinking that's what you are now, right? You are a psychologist.
Yes, I am. I am a psychologist, trained and licensed in Europe. Um, I've been doing therapy for people with sessions for over 18 years, and I wrote 2 books, and I do workshops mostly online, and
Absolutely.
that's what I've been
You
doing
know,
for
we
yeah,
think
for
about
almost
people
20
who are
years.
in the mental health professions, and I think the average person thinks, if someone's in that line of work, their life, they're really together. They've got it figured out. And maybe on some level that's true, but at the end of the day, we're all human, right?
Uh-huh.
you know, no matter how together we are, there's still
Yes,
something.
yes, 100%. Yes, yes. Yes, if I can say, I mean, that's what life taught me. I'm 52 now, so I had some years behind me. What life taught me is that every single path on Earth that people walk is some kind of a challenge, some kind of a thing to figure out, something to learn. So that's what the Earth is about. Just to be here and learn and explore and face some difficulties. So nobody's immune from it. No matter who you are and what you do, even if you're angel yourself descending from heaven, you will have some challenges here on earth. So nobody's immune from it, and no knowledge will take it away or experience. But the key is the whole point here. It is not what happens to you, but what kind of relationship with it you will develop, how what you do about it, how you treat it, if you learn something from it, if you treat it as an opportunity to grow or an opportunity to become a victim. So the relationship with the challenge is the key of
I
living
couldn't
here,
agree with
not
you
that
more.
something happens or
I
doesn't
think that's what
happen.
my experiences taught me. But that's actually how I came to be a podcaster. I started out looking for a way to heal from what I would call a traumatic event. And for me, that was talking about it, to remove myself from that event. And I found the more I talked about it, the more that I healed from it. And then I turned around and thought, well, let me see if I could turn around and help others. My initial vision didn't quite gel, because it takes someone realizing that they do need to talk in order to heal, and not everyone realizes that. So I had to adjust my vision, and then the Molten Truth was born. Uh, but I think that's been the amazing part because even as I worked through my own issues and talked with all these amazing people, these what do you call them? Life coaches and the psychologists and these others. Just I learned so much about myself as I heard their stories, and it helped me to develop plans to further heal beyond what I had even envisioned. And that's the amazing thing when you
Yes.
let your guard down and say, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to be vulnerable and I am going to try to learn from this. At least that's been my experience. And have
Hmm.
you professionally probably see that every day, but what about in your
Yes.
own experiences as well?
Yes. Yes. I totally agree. As time goes by, I'm learning that the only place that you can be healed from anything or everything is when it's a place where you are really authentic with yourself. That you don't have to hide anything from yourself and eventually from others. um, Everything can be accepted as it is. Nothing gets rejected. Just, of course, sometimes we cannot accept some things in our life, but it's not about rejecting or hating it. It's just not choosing it. That's a big difference in the approach. So yes, and the more we try to hide for whatever reason because we are ashamed or it's too painful or it's too scary, it will be eating inside and eating until some kind of a break, whatever it is, the health or
By not dealing with it, and
depression
I
or
was actually
whatever
just
it
reading
is,
something about that
anxiety.
this weekend. By not
Mm-hmm.
dealing with it in a healthy way, it's almost like someone who has a heart attack or someone who's broken their leg. It's healed to a certain extent, but it actually healed more weaker. So it's more prone to be broken again or to suffer another heart attack again.
Mm-hmm.
But if they follow the doctor's
Yes.
advice, it could actually heal stronger. Um, and that's such an interesting thing. If you take the right approach, you can come
Mm-hmm.
out of it far stronger than you were before that event ever happened. But you have to follow those certain steps to heal the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
that was kind of a different take for me when I thought about that in relation to what I just
Yes.
read this last
Yes.
weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it also forces us a little bit because, except that we are individuals, we are also a collective being, right? We belong to this human society, and the human society itself, it's like a one organism, and we are just like a single cells in this organism. So it is important to acknowledge it, to feel it, to live it to some extent. So sometimes when we are really sick or we face some trauma or we feel totally isolated, uh, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, then it forces us to actually reach to other people who are the part of the same huge organism, of the human collective organism, and then we get better because we get connected back to the bigger reality than just our own inner
Right. And if
trauma
for no
that
other
really
reason, just to
isolates
see
from
how
from
they
connection.
coped with a similar situation,
Yeah.
you know, in talking with these different ones,
Mm-hmm.
the term modalities was not even in my vocabulary 8 months ago. Modality, what does that even mean? But as I spoke with these coaches, things that I intuitively was
Mm-hmm.
doing, one of the reasons I started writing my books was part of that healing process. Take embracing the creative side of me that I had actually left on the table for
Mm-hmm.
years. I had, put it to the wayside because I was focused on other things, was part of my going back to heal. Um, but I did not view that as a one of those steps in that context as one of the healing modalities, or creating my own songs to basically
Mm-hmm.
program my thinking. Now, the thought occurred to me after someone had brought up the idea of oh,
Mm-hmm.
what's it called when you acknowledge verbally something that's wrong so that you don't have the same emotional it doesn't have the emotional impact that it does if you don't verbalize it. I forget what the terminology is for it. um it's been a while since I've given it thought,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a scientific term for that. And so when I had researched that, I thought, well, great. Now, what if I take that and I do that and create my own music? Because music, gets in your head and it's in your mind all the time. And if these are songs that I love, it's also going
Oh
to
yeah.
program these thoughts that I need to hear. And that was that second modality that helped me to process. And I felt like heal faster. So, but again, these things wouldn't have occurred to me on my own. On my own, I would have
Yes.
been just out there in left field trying to figure out, how do I heal from this? It was interacting with others who had that experience and who made the right comments at the right time when I was receptive to hear it. But
Yes. 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 And music is something really magical for our human brain. And when we listen to songs, many times the songs talk about some kind of a difficulty, some kind of problem, or I feel alone, or he left me, or she left me, or something happened, or and when we say those words out loud, and at the same time we sing or make music, there's some kind of release happening in the brain. So the music has been the oldest medicine
exactly. I was
for
actually
in
speaking with,
humanity. Yeah.
I believe his doctorate is actually more he's like a professor. I think that's his doctorate. But he was talking in one of the episodes from this season about how music actually is being used in the medical field for specific illnesses, certain diseases that they're seeing evidence where it actually can be used to help treat, which was something new to me. I mean, I knew like from a mental standpoint, but the idea that
Yes.
it could help treat actual physical things was not something even on my radar. I need to go back and listen to that podcast again myself. But that was a very new idea to me, that music could be used in that way. Yeah. So I kind
Yes.
of allowed us to go off on a tangent
Yes.
because I find
Yes.
this whole subject fascinating. But I did want to kind of circle back to, you've written 2 books. What was the first book you wrote?
The first book, the title is "You Are the Dream of the Universe," and it's. I wrote it as a summary of my of years of working with people in individual sessions. That's one reason, and other reason was that. I've been working in so-called expanded states of awareness, digging inside the structure of, the human soul and consciousness and all those emotional systems. It's been my passion since I remember. So by doing it, I was understanding more and more and discovering more and more, and it was somehow organizing in my head more and more coherently, and it made more and more sense. So when I was talking to people sometimes during sessions, they said, "Oh my gosh, could you repeat it? Could you repeat it? I have to write it down." So finally somebody said, "Well, you should write a book because it's too many good things, just to forget." So after hearing it a few times, I've decided, okay, I will write a book. So the book is it's actually about the human deep self, how it's structured and why it suffers. For the logical brain to understand it well, I name the parts of it. And one of the parts you probably heard a lot, inner child, but it's not a book about the inner child. It's a book about inner parent, because I understood in the process of pondering those things and discovering more and more little details and nuances that everybody talks about inner child, how wounded it is, and how much saving it needs, and care and everything. And more I was understanding, I realized it's not the inner child that has a problem, it's the inner parent that has a problem, to the point that nobody talks about it, because nobody Nobody actually is considering this as a part of the whole structure. And then I thought, okay, just thinking logically, if just imagine if we say a word, a child, immediately we have to assume that there is a parent. I mean, it doesn't have to be biological parent. It could be any kind of caregiver. But child means there is the other party, right? And together they form, yes. And the other way around, when we say word parent, it assumes that there is a child somewhere, right? You cannot call um, you cannot call an adult parent if he or she doesn't have a child. So then I thought, okay, we are healing this in the therapeutic world. We're healing this inner child, but what about the inner parent? Nobody talks about it. So then, when I started going deeper and deeper, I noticed that it is the inner parent that has problems, not the inner child. That inner child is actually intact. It's always this ball of energy wanting to play with life, and it can't, not because it's wounded, it can't because there's no parent that will help the child to have the safe space to play. If you think about child and the parent in the real world, child, child can't do much in the world. The parent does everything, organizes play dates and signs for lessons of piano lessons or whatever it is, right, that the child wants to do. It's the parent that organizes the life. Without the parent, child can't do anything, and it's very unhappy. But is it unhappy because it's wounded? No, it's unhappy because it doesn't have a smart and wise and loving parent.
That's
So
very
the moment,
insightful.
yes. So when the parent appears, suddenly the child lights up and wants to, and it's okay again, right?
True.
So then I thought, why everybody's putting all this pressure on this poor inner child who just wants to play with life and project all this, you are so wounded, you need this, you need that. So so it's not, in my view, it's totally not like that. It's the parent, the inner parent structure that has a problem, and it's projecting those things on the inner child, telling it, oh, you're so weak, oh, you need my help, oh, you need my hugs and all that. Of course, child needs hugs because that's normal, needs connection, but it's not because it is so powerless, poor victim. It's just because it needs it. So when I started working with the inner parent, and started doing workshops and invented this process called inherence process, magic happens. When we switch the perspective and start working on the inner parent and leave alone the poor child, and suddenly it turns out the child has been always fine. Nothing happened to it.
Right.
Nothing. It's just waiting for the parent to wake up and see it, him or she or her, is a perfect little thing who wants to play with life, and little thing but very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole book is about that. The first book, You Are the Dream of the Universe.
I love that. I could
Yeah.
imagine you doing an
Mm-hmm.
entire workshop around that book.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
there's
Yes. I've
so
been
much we
doing
could
it.
learn.
Yes, I've been doing it for now in Polish. Um, and it's a 1 month workshop, and it's a lot of working through. And well, so far the feedback is really, really powerful.
Bet. I bet.
Hmm.
It makes me wonder how you do over here in the States.
Well, I can think about it. Yes. Well, I live in the States. I've been living in the States for 19 years. Oh no, more actually. It's 22 now. Oh my gosh, where the time goes.
Goes
Yeah, so
fast.
it's been 22. I'm moving to Africa very soon, but probably I'll be coming back here.
I could imagine you doing a bunch of speaking engagements at bare minimum, but I could definitely get behind the idea of a workshop, the inner parent workshop.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah,
Yes.
it's yeah, how people process things and what comes out, and how how transformed they are. It's like really almost humbling, that, oh my gosh, it's so powerful. Yeah, it makes me small sometimes. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so big. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the smallest ideas are the most impactful.
Mm-hmm.
It just can be that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the second book, which is very interesting, again, in light of
Yes.
the fact that
Yes.
of your profession, but again, at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
we're human. We all have that desire to have human relationships, to be loved,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes the heart is blind. It puts blinders on us sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got this book that's coming out. You're releasing it to Amazon sometime in the next week or two. It should be available to people by at least by mid
November.
November.
Yes, I hope so. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And what's the title
Mm-hmm.
of this book?
The title of this book is The Chameleon's Game.
Okay. And
So,
go ahead and explain
so
what
this
that
one is,
means. Yeah.
yes, this one is more. I write in this book. I write a lot about my own personal experience with from my own relationship that was going on for over 10 years with a guy who turned out to be a covert narcissist, and how it went from the beginning to the end. But also, I give a lot of psychological insight, but not only psychological, also generational at the end of the book, and spiritual, because it's much wider than just personal experience and personal trauma. When we expand our thinking and understanding beyond what we felt on a very personal level, there's more to it than just, oh, I had a bad luck or God cursed me.
Well,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Exactly.
So there's a lot deeper reality, and there is always somewhere a deep, 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 unknown, uncovered, invisible agreement to go to everything that we experience in life. Only because we don't know it, we think we have bad luck or we're victims. But when you dig deep enough, then you will find out that there was part of me that agreed to it, and it part had reason. So once you go there and you discover that part of you, then first of all, there's nobody to blame. Second, if I did it myself, then it means it was my power to do it, so it's my power to undo it. I'm not nobody's victim. And it's not an easy process, but totally doable and very empowering. So, but going back to your question and what we talked at the beginning, yes, nobody is immune from different experiences and challenges while here on Earth. So even if I had my knowledge and I already worked with people, helping them to overcome many different difficulties, and I had my degree in psychology, and I had my other degree in theology, and I had thousands of diplomas, allowing me to do some EFT, emotional freedom technique practice, and other things. It still may not be enough, because there are parts of us that are deep, 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 and they are unknown by our awareness. We don't know we have them. You can discover those things, those parts, only through life experience.
True.
So sometimes we have to experience something, meet somebody, go through something to actually be pulled down enough, deep down enough, to finally find that part of yourself. So with this approach, I was going through this relationship like that. On one side, going through hell, not all the time, but there were moments going through hell. On the other part of me that wanted to understand what is going on, not with him, but with this whole thing here. Why am I in this? Why? What's going on here? So with this approach, I was just discovering more and more and more about the relationship, about the narcissism, about the parts of me that I didn't know I had. Some generational issues came later after we already split. So it was really interesting, powerful, deep, challenging, not easy process. But after going through it, I can say I came out on the other side of it like a different person, even physically. You know, when I went to Poland last vacation this year, and I decided to do some complex physical checkup. It's been best in my life. I've never had better results than I have right now. You know, many things came back to harmony and health after really touching those deep things that put me into this relationship. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, that's the thing about having a relationship with a narcissist, because they are so good at putting on a show at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they know how to appeal to someone who's empathic, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to be attractive. And it really does blind you
Mm-hmm.
until
Yes.
you're committed. And they
Mm-hmm.
keep you blinded for a pretty good while, or at the very least they keep
Mm-hmm.
you guessing, like something's off but I can't figure out what. It's like you're too close to it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not really until you gain some distance that you begin to see it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that
Yeah.
was your experience, but I feel like that was
Yes.
my experience with my narcissist.
Oh, welcome to the club.
Yes, yes. It's been going on 5 years away from my narcissist. So
Mm-hmm.
I have that nice clear vision now that I did not have
Yeah.
during my almost 15 years with him. So, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's an interesting thing.
Yes. Yes, I had the same thing as you're talking about. The first year was like paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, everything was really, really good on all levels. And then we moved to a very remote place, and it was like a 180-degree shift. But I still couldn't figure it out. You know, try to justify it, explain it in my head. Oh, just have a bad day, or he's tired, or maybe next week will be better, or maybe I'll do something special, something extra, so he will light up, and it didn't for 10 years.
Yeah.
So yes, so it was only trying and trying and trying, and the more I went, the more at the same time I was distancing myself from the relationship, because it was going nowhere. So on the inside, I was understanding more and distancing it, because I was not going to throw myself in it more and more and more and more, seeing that it's absolutely not working. And eventually it just dissolved itself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you know, I have this drawing in my book. I think it's a really good drawing. So there's a man who in this drawing is the narcissist, and there's a woman, and they're standing, their faces stand are you know, looking at each other, but he is holding a mirror like this. So imagine that you are looking at me,
Yep.
but you are seeing actually your reflection, but you
Right.
don't know you're seeing your reflection. You think you're seeing him. So, but you're seeing your reflection. So it's so familiar. It's so you. It's
Mm-hmm.
so known. It's, oh my gosh, I met my other half finally. He's my twin flame. He's whatever, because you're actually looking at your own reflection, because he's
That's what they
reflecting you
want you to
back. He's
see.
not, yes, he's not putting himself, because there's nobody inside. So he's not present with you. He's reflecting you as the manipulation tactic, to think that he's so perfect, that he's so resonating and matching with you, but you just don't realize you're looking at yourself, because he reflected back to you. So
That
he,
is a
you know, they
perfect illustration.
yes, they say the perfect things, they do the perfect things, they care about you, they shower you with things that are valuable to you. Valuable, I mean, I'm not talking about presents, expensive presents, but anything, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's like, wow, I'm home. Uh-huh. Red flag.
Right. Exactly.
Now I know
But
it's a red flag, yes.
yeah, it's easy to see it after the fact,
Mm-hmm.
and especially because they tend to want to get you alone in the first place. They're not the type of people who want to be around you in groups of people where others can spot that something's not
Mm.
right. It's usually that
Mm-hmm.
it's one on one, and that way you're easy to manipulate. If
Yeah.
because I mean that couldn't fly if they were constantly with you with a group of people, not
Mm-hmm.
constantly. Short term,
Right.
maybe, but not all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and also, that's what happened. I mean, I completely didn't think it this way at that time, because to me, it was an adventure when we decided to leave this little town where he was connected to many people and friends and local people, and I was getting connected too. Uh, and then we moved to some remote area in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
There was like, I don't know how 43 acres of forest,
Yeah.
and you couldn't see your neighbor,
Yeah.
and so it was a perfect perfect place. I didn't think about it. For me, it was an adventure because I've never lived like this, and we had a huge garden and taking care of everything on the land, which was good. But on the personal level, whoa, what happened
Yeah.
immediately after we moved in there?
Yeah.
No
Absolutely.
witnesses, nobody.
Yeah.
Yes, and there was this one older neighbor. Sometimes I brought her some tomatoes. Sometimes she brought something to me. She bought eggs a few times from us because we had chickens too. And she said, "Well, you, I know this type." She said, "You better be careful. Just watch." She tried to. I mean, at that time, I was like, "Who are you to tell me this in my own home, right?" But then now I'm seeing, and he hated her.
Oh, well, yeah,
Yeah,
because
he
she saw
hated her.
him
Yeah.
for what he was. Yeah, that's
She
often
said
the
he will
case.
change. He will flip like this. He will change on you. You won't even know when.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is an interesting thing because as long as you are in sync with them, as long as,
Mm-hmm.
they feel like you're on their side, all is good. But the minute that
Yes.
they feel like you are pulling away or that you're no longer in sync with them, and that's not this, like, mine was never dangerous. And, at no time was he ever abusive to me. But, the minute he felt like, oh, wait, she's pulling away, the relationship very
Mm-hmm.
decidedly did take a change. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it's an interesting thing
Yeah.
to see that, the
Mm-hmm.
narcissist
Yeah.
unmasked.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes. So at least, after going through this experience and being really, really active on the inside to really understand not him, but what is going on here, what kind of
yeah.
mechanism underneath drives this thing? Because my
Hmm.
logical mind was not understanding, why am I in it? The other part was, oh, I'm in it. Uh, so I really, really thought it through and felt it deeply. Went to the hell and the deepest darkness. And I write it about the book in the book too.
Yeah,
It gave me actually unbelievable material to share with people.
absolutely.
Really, it came out really nicely.
Sounds good.
It's not just the story of a victim; it's just the story of the whole experience and transformation and coming out on the other side of it.
Yeah,
Stronger,
absolutely.
actually, not weaker.
Right. Well, and it's something for people to learn because even if they're not experiencing themselves, it's at least something they can use to help others in their family, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
wake up call before it's too late,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And I
Yes.
just want to interject really quickly. The title of your book is The Chameleon's Game.
Yes.
Okay. I just want our
Yes.
audience
Yes.
to know the title of your book for certain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to walk away and go, what was that book?
Yes.
So the Chameleon's game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing. And I think you're right. It's about understanding yourself as much as anything. Um,
Yes.
up until just a year or two ago. So this is even after mine was over and done with. You know, you hear the term narcissism. I've heard that at least half my life. But it's only in the last couple of years that I've learned what an empath, with that term. In my mind, empath was Deanna Troi on Star Trek. That's what an empath was. It was a made up fictional character. It wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
personality type. But it's only in the last year or two I've come to realize, oh, it's a personality type, and here's what it's entailed, and do I fit that? Oh, okay, yes, check. Oh, yeah, apparently, yes, I do
Mm-hmm.
fit that personality type. But until I think sometimes until you go through a situation or you stumble upon, the right information that resonates with you, you don't know. Some things are a mystery until you hit on the right question that then
Mm-hmm.
yields those answers.
Yes. 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 And empathy is, when I was researching a little bit the topic of narcissism before I wrote the book, I found I think it was an ebook, and it made a distinction, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Distinction between empath with boundaries and empath without boundaries. So the one who doesn't have boundaries, especially in a dangerous place, because the boundaries keep you safe, right? Keep you content within your own space. But without the boundaries, the person just gives and gives and gives and gives, and until there's nothing in there left.
Kind of like the
And the
canary in the
empath with
cage.
mm-hmm.
You can have the cage to
Yes,
protect you from that big bad cat out there.
yes, yes, yes. And the empath with boundaries, with good boundaries, is capable of, yes, giving and seeing and having compassion, but it won't um, kill himself or herself in the process.
Yeah, those
It's
boundaries
able
are
to pull back
everything.
when it feels bad, when it feels too much. Person, the empath is capable of stepping away and not feeling guilty about it.
And that's really a hard thing to do as an empath.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I actually have to work on, is the boundaries part, because that
Mm-hmm.
actually is what led to my traumatic events. So the traumatic event that led to this podcast and so on, it really does come down to those boundaries, because
Yes.
I thought I had boundaries, and then I got myself into a situation where those boundaries were tested, and I went well beyond my boundaries, well beyond my comfort zone, got myself into a world of hurt. And thank goodness for
Mm-hmm.
very dear, wise friends who helped me navigate myself out of
Yes.
that. But, I crossed one line that I had always said I wouldn't cross. And boy, did I go miles beyond that line. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely an area to work on.
Yes, and connecting the dots and the topic from my first book, actually the structure that I called inner parent is the boundary. It is the boundary, and when you think about it, when a little child is born, it doesn't have any boundaries yet. It's just a pure energy, right?
Yeah.
With totally no boundaries. So at the beginning, there's this external boundary called mom or dad. They are the boundaries, and they are protecting the child from destroying itself, because the child will destroy himself or herself themselves when there's no boundary. So, but then when the child is growing and maturing and the brain is developing, they develop their own boundary. So then they can regulate themselves better and better and better and protect themselves from any harm or whatever. But the inner parent structure in the little child, while it's developing, it's absorbing the parenting style from from the outside world, meaning from the closest people who are parents or the caregivers. So whatever the relationship with the parent, mom and dad, or any caregiver is, that's what kind of relationship with our own inner core we will have as adults. So the external parents become our inner parent at some point. So as they treated us, we treat themselves later the same way.
Which makes sense, because
So
there are certain things I'm so
yes.
strict with myself about. Like, I will not go to a party if I did not do XYZ, which was exactly the same thing my parents required of me way back when.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that would be the inner parent
Yeah.
continuing with the external parent.
Exactly. That's
Yes.
what I was saying, that the inner parent has the problem, not the inner child. So we have to work on those boundaries. When we were children and we didn't feel safe, completely safe or at all safe sometimes with our own parents, then then we feel in our own inner world when we were adults, because the inner parent doesn't feel safe because it modeled from the external parent. So we have to work on the inner parent to be a good parent who is loving, observing, protecting, allowing, explaining, being patient, and all that we wanted from our parents or caregivers. So we can become the same to ourselves. Many times we don't. We try to compensate with relationships, and usually we find in the world somebody who matches exactly the inner parent style. the dysfunctional inner parent style. Yeah.
That could be. Although actually, as you were saying all that, I'm realizing at least once in my life, I've known a lot of people because I've lived in a lot of places. But out of all the people I've known, and we're talking about several thousand people, one person actually, on some level, must have realized that, because I clearly remember her talking about undoing everything her parents did. She was 30 something, but she was talking about, now about raising herself, and undoing what her parents did. So even though she didn't know the psychological side of things, on some level she did recognize that. And that's interesting, because this was 1980 something that she said that. And that's very interesting just to think back about that in terms of what you're explaining.
Yes.
So
Yes,
that's
because
out of many
what I'm
thousands of
talking.
people.
Sorry.
No,
Yes,
I'm done.
but exactly, you're right, because the structure, how it's functioning, it's been always the same and never changed. It's just now we have more understanding to describe it, actually, the mechanics of it, how it works and what it does. But it's been since the beginning of humanity, it's been the same thing, and people try to compensate and cope with the internal struggle in many different ways, functional or dysfunctional. But now we know more, and we can actually go directly to the relationship between the inner parts, the inner child and inner parent, or the essence and the boundary, and work with it directly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we're to the segment of the show where I get to ask you the random question from the previous guest. And I love this last question that the previous guest left. They asked you to picture your mind as a museum with different exhibits. So as you walk through this museum, you'd have, these exhibits like family, imagination, creativity, so on. So how, as you walk through this museum, what would these different exhibits look like? That's their question.
Whoa.
Isn't that quite the question?
Yeah, let me try to feel into it in my brain. Well, I have an image. Okay, I have an image. It's like the space is divided, and in one part of the space, it is like a real museum with different things that happened or are important. But it's separated from now, meaning when I'm sitting in the now, it's just the open space and I see only horizon and nothing else. It's like blue sky and ocean or something, and there's nothing there. And then when I walk into the other space, it's all how you say it? It's all not in the now.
Okay. Yeah. It's like history.
It's it's like a history I can visit. I can pull something from it, but it belongs there.
Yeah, it lives there at the
and
museum.
what was the question? What was the question? What in the museum?
What would these exhibits look like? Like the family exhibit or the imagination exhibit and so on.
Okay. How they look like? Dead, meaning not alive, meaning like props. Okay. Not dead, like props. Like something that I can use, meaning go and play with it, but it's just that. It's like it's like a amusement park that you can go in and have really good time and fun. Okay. But it's it's not you. Then you come back to yourself, to your own home, and it's quiet and peaceful, and everything is there.
Is that the imagination in that museum that you're describing?
No, it's the whole museum.
Oh, the whole museum.
It's a whole museum. Yes, it's not an easy question.
It's okay. Yeah,
to answer it like that.
Yeah, and that's okay. I just was like fascinated by the question itself. So yeah, it's all right. No big deal.
Yeah.
Now, you did mention before we got started that you did come up with a question for the next guest.
Yeah. Well, my question is a lot simpler.
And nothing wrong with that. Simple is good.
Yes. Let me read it. I wrote it down here.
Okay.
If the universe texted you one line of advice today, what would it say? And would you read it or skip it?
Okay. What would it say? And would you read it or skip it? Very interesting. Okay. So as we wind up, do you have any last thoughts or anything you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, yes, I always share this and encourage people to think about this. That really the most important relationship in the whole universe is the relationship with the own deep self, because that's the start of everything. Really, it's like the commanding center in there, and then everything else is just the extension of it. So the more we go deep or deeper, trying to know your own essence, who you are, what's your potential that you came here on this earth with, meaning we become then more authentic, more true, more like ourselves. And what follows is we are more happy, more confident, more calm, more in harmony with the world and everybody and everything. And we need less and less from the external world to feel happy and fulfilled. So just find a way, I don't know, a moment during the week or a day just to think about it, about the deeper self that wants to be seen, that wants to just shine through in the world, waiting there. It's there all the time, and do everything that's possible, whatever it is, meditation, reflection, some EFT. I do EFT, right? The emotional freedom technique, the tapping, just to go inside and know yourself. Yes, then everything else will be okay.
Those are wonderful words of advice. We really appreciate you coming and sharing your story with us, and we look forward to reading your books. I hope that you will do some of these classes here in the United States before you head off to Africa. But if you don't, we understand. But
I'll think about it for sure.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would benefit from them. Even if you did them online from Africa, I think a lot of people would benefit from them.
Yes, I can do that. Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me, and